Hey folks, welcome to the Afterburn Soccer Show. Looks like it's going to be a nice and tight one tonight. I haven't heard from my buddy Jose, who I thought was going to be on, and he may join me here in a couple of minutes. Sometimes, technical issues crop up, but welcome to Afterburn Soccer Show. I'm your host, Nathan Hill. You can follow me at Nathan J. Hill, sort of back in the saddle after, about 3 weeks of travel and even some sickness tossed in there, and last week was a bit of a mess. We had a show, and now we're back this week to kind of settle things down, at least through most of the rest of the summer. So we're excited that you'll be jumping in and joining us as we get this show going and talk about the latest FC Dallas, North Texas Soccer Club. We know this is MLS All-Star Week, so kind of a weird week where some players are away from practice for teams and they're trying to showcase their talents with the match, and I guess that's one question: is will folks be watching the All-Star game? And MLS Next Pro has an All-Star game too, and North Texas is sending a player there, and Michael Collodi will be participating in some skill challenges. But Martin Paz and Peter Musa, who got the call up, are going to participate in the All-Star game. So good for them. A good little moment just to get acquainted with the culture of the league, the quirks of Major League Soccer. But hey, let's start with FC Dallas. We're going to get a little post-game conversation with Peter Luccin here in just a moment, the interim head coach for FC Dallas. The big news is that, of course, after 3 games in like 7 days, once again, FC Dallas comes away with 7 points. A big victory at home against the Los Angeles Galaxy, who, meanwhile, then went up top of the West. So a really nice victory in that one. And then a 3-1 win on Wednesday night against Austin FC at home to claim the Copa Tejas. First time it's been back here to Dallas in a couple of years, so a really cool moment for the guys and for fans to sort of celebrate a little bit of something in the midst of what has been a difficult year. And then they traveled up to New England Revolution, who under new head coach Caleb Porter have had it was a mess of a match. Let's just put it that way. I was on a flight coming back watching bits of it, and the midfield turnovers I saw and it was just a very uneven match. Now, on one hand, FC Dallas started a lot of young players in this one. They rotated. They brought in some kids, including Anthony Ramirez, who made his debut on a short-term loan from North Texas, a really exciting moment for the youngster. And he really, didn't embarrass himself out there. He did fine. He showed up and did what he needed to do, as well as Tariq Scott, who I think the more we see, the more we're intrigued by his talent. It's just a matter of how the team brings him along and gives him opportunities as he continues to mature. But all in all, New England and both teams just did not play well. It was Revolution are having a terrible year. For me, watching that Revolution match, I kept seeing these guys who I'm like, I thought these guys were out of the league, like Tommy McNamara. I thought this guy had retired a couple years ago. I mean, he's still up there. And Bobby Wood, who I think Bobby Wood is probably an option for some teams who need some striker depth over the course of a season. He's definitely an experienced guy and has a bit of national team experience. So not a bad roster spot for Major League Soccer to a domestic talent to give him, the end of his career, some opportunity on a team. But man, it was just not a pretty game, not a pretty match for either team. Bobby Wood was able to find a nice little flick on. Disappointing moment for FC Dallas, and really maybe a bit of a lucky goal if he just hits that a little bit. It's almost like he deflected it in, but he hits it a little bit wrong, and it's not going anywhere, So they go down 1-0, and it looked like it was going to be a miserable day for FC Dallas, a loss on the road where they haven't really struggled to find points this season against a really bad team. It was going to be a really disappointing match, even though we take into account injuries and rotation and all that stuff. And then, hey, the team found an equalizer off of a penalty kick, off of a foul in the box. Kip Keller, no idea what that guy was doing. He was late on the play. It was kind of a Hail Mary kind of situation. Just get the ball in the box and hope something happens. and something did happen. There was definitely a foul there, a 2-arm push in the back, and Paul Arriola stepped up and slaughtered home a professional PK. So this is what Peter Luccin, interim FC Dallas head coach, had to say about Paul Arriola's performance and how he has really, in the midst of what has been a frustrating and quiet season in this past couple of games, he's turned some things around. Let's listen to the head coach.
Yeah, he's top. He's our captain, no? So look at that. Even when I asked him to play, and we asked him to play as a midfielder because he was not like a true midfielder in the bench. He did it, and to be honest, he did excellent. He knew how to play. He knew how to release the ball. So he scored. He wanted that PK. So everybody left. He said, "Okay, so this is for Paul. And look at the quality of this PK." So he's good. We still there. I know that right now Minnesota, all those teams, so they are winning, but I will say that is a good point.
So positive words there from interim FC Dallas head coach Peter Luccin on Paul Arriola's professionalism, his gamesmanship, his leadership, and you can't ever count a player like that out. I know we have a variety of opinions about these guys that we see a lot, and we look at their salary levels, we look at their production levels, we think as fans about all these different things. Is it worth it? Can we move them on? But there's a real strong benefit to having a guy who's had the experience like Paul Arriola and even Sebastian Lletget, guys who, they're going to have moments as they get older in the up and down of a season where they don't put it all together. But then they're also going to have moments where they are able to do the things that young guys can't, that they are able to weather the ups and downs and the grind of the season in some ways that you really need at key moments. And we may go back and look at this New England Revolution point and say, like, if Paul had missed that PK, if another player had stepped up, we missed it. That point may end up being crucial for getting us into the play-in game, or even getting us over the line and into a playoff spot come to the end of the season. So you never know how these things shake out. So we may go back and say, man, that point was a bigger point than we realized, especially since the team just were bare bones. I mean, Carl Sante, who came off with a knee injury, got a start in this one. I like Carl. I think he was a really great pickup for North Texas. I think they scouted him, and he's been seasoned a bit with North Texas, been a nice leader in that place, has some national team experience with the Haitian national team. So an interesting player that is a perfect profile to take a swing at and to bring on FC Dallas for depth in the midfield. But you maybe didn't expect him to start this year. Maybe you expect him to get some minutes here or there, maybe something in the Open Cup as you develop him. But gosh, you're so depleted with guys. Ilarmendi out. Liam Fraser is out, injured for a while. Patrick Delgado is out. Who do you turn to? Nolan Norris is away with U19s. Good for him. Good opportunity for these guys. So you need somebody to step up, and you got to turn to Carl Sante. And I think a goal of a young player, you want to be a world beater. You want to go out and do this spectacular. But sometimes, as I mentioned in an article this week, sometimes you just want to step in and make the game simple. Step in, do your part, get in people's faces, shuttle the ball where it needs to go, play defense, protect your back line. Just do the little things that are core to what being a good soccer player about. And then as you build in confidence, then you take those chances. You look for those opportunities. You build your confidence level as a professional player. And so we may see more of him. I don't know about this knee injury. It's an interesting situation for FC Dallas. And hey, good news. So again, a 7-point week. You beat LA Galaxy, who went to top of the West, who are just on fire. You took care of Austin FC, and what a sweet game that was, y'all. What a delicious game that was. Austin FC player getting a red card, Drusi, their season is in a bit of a mess right now. A huge 3 points to draw FC Dallas closer to Austin FC, who are above them in that playoff contention. Copa Tejas is nice to have. It's great to have, but probably the bigger thing is that you're just hanging around. FC Dallas is still trying to get healthy, trying to string together enough results to stay in contention for that playoff spot. So good for them. Good for their overall a huge win for them in this season, but also just a nice, emotional, feisty win. To see that this team, a lot of these players, we can complain about them sometimes. We can question their effort, but you saw their passion. You saw how much fun they're having. They want to win. They want to win. They want to take care of things against in-state rivals, and we saw that definitely on Wednesday night. A lot of drama in that one. But kudos to FC Dallas kind of keeping their head. And a huge moment from Musa, who misses a PK, but gets to retake it off of what was an excellent VAR call and blasts it home. Just absolutely. Musa is a huge signing for FC Dallas. We can be grateful for FC Dallas making that move. Those are the shape of things. Let's talk about this new signing, and I'm going to try my best to pull up a little bit of some highlights. That's a couple years old highlights, of Sho. What's his name? Sho Kafumana. The new signing he's on loan from Israel, from a squad in Israel, one of the better teams there. He wasn't evidently in the plans with the season for the team. And so this is that perfect kind of classic FC Dallas maneuver where you need bodies. You don't want to spend a whole lot. Maybe they're looking at there we go. Look at that. Maybe they're looking at some other signings. We'll have to wait and see. But this is who they go get. Midfield highlights aren't always like the most exciting highlights, but they're just little things like that. Stops, getting in the way of a promising attack, shuffling the ball forward, winning the ball, keeping the ball. Little moments of class that we tend to see on these kinds of highlight videos. Interesting little nugget about this guy is that he did play with Reggie Cannon, so he might know something or the other about FC. Well, at least has heard of FC Dallas at some point. On his way over to provide huge midfield depth that the team needs right now. The question will be kind of what level of fitness he's in. Is he ready just to, ready to start off the bench? Is he ready to come in? We just don't know yet what his status is going forward, what shape he is in. And there's some mixed reviews out there of kind of, he's had some decent moments, but this team in Israel really have no plans for him. There's some question mark whether he was very good last season at all for them, and so maybe they're having buyer's remorse. So this is a loan with option to buy, so it's a very low-risk kind of deal for FC Dallas. They get to take a look at him for a year. He's depth. If he works out, maybe it's a really cheap deal, and they get a bargain. And if not, that he goes back to back to Israel, at some point it's someone else's problem. So this, in days past, I put on the article today, we would have called this the Clavijo special. Fernando Clavijo, longtime general manager for FC Dallas, was notorious for going out and finding these interesting loan option guys who are works in progress, and sometimes it was a little too early for them to make the maneuver to Major League Soccer. And they've gone on to have some other decent opportunities elsewhere. But but a team that didn't want to spend a lot, but a team that needed some bodies, that needed some guys to take a look at. That's kind of this situation here. And right now, boy, the team needs some help in the midfield. The team needs some fresh legs. So even if he just starts off the bench and gets that week or two to get healthy, it may end up being a decent move for FC Dallas. Of course, not the move with fireworks that some of us have wanted to see. Some of us want us to see FC Dallas go out and get a big name guy. It may not happen. It may just not work with the roster and salary cap situation for FC Dallas right now. So, all right. So, a new signing today. What an interesting thing. And I don't know when he's going to be in town. We may find out a little bit more about that later in the week during the coaches call. And we'll certainly try to share that with you Afterburn folks and Twitter folks as that information comes up. Shifting over to North Texas. Oh, a tough Sunday night for them as the team, who'd been at or near the top of MLS Next Pro, Western Conference. 2 straight losses now. Pretty disappointing. And in particular, this last one, a 4-0 loss and against Dynamo 2 down in Houston. A really disappointing match for the team. And one that the scoreline, I think was a bit unfair. The team definitely had moments where they looked strong. They created opportunities, just weren't able to finish. And then when Houston did attack, it went the way of the home side. Here's North Texas head coach Michel Garbini on the loss.
Yes, and so players that have been playing for a long time had a great performance in the first half. Other than the goal, I don't think Houston create much situation. We can't dominate the game in possession, creating chances. We just unfortunately couldn't finish our chances. Second half, team is just got a little fatigue, a little tired, disorganized. So the heat us as well. So team is just didn't perform the way they should in the second half. Unfortunately, the result was 4-0. I don't think was a game. I don't that the team deserved to lose 4-0 based on the first half, but it happened. Let's move on. A lot of concentration, a lot of focus on the next game now. Of course, we're gonna correct all the mistakes. We're gonna work on it. We're gonna review the players. Okay, so unfortunately, it can't happen anymore. So we're gonna move on.
Yeah, the team is gonna move on. Definitely has to be their recipe just to let that one go. It happens to every good team. They have a stinker. They have those games where the opponent can do no wrong, and just got to learn from it, correct the things you can, and go on and try to stay true to the values that got you in such a strong position so far in this season. So a tough one for North Texas, but they did see the debut of some really young players from the academy. Announced a new signing last week as well. So some good things happening to the team there. But let's be real, they're missing players. They have some injuries just like FC Dallas is experiencing, and that's a real challenge. I mean, this is the kind of game where they would have loved to have Tariq Scott, but he was needed with the senior team. Maybe even, Carl Sante, some other guys that could have come down while Nolan Norris is out and other guys are out. And of course, they were missing Anthony Ramirez, who made his debut with FC Dallas on Sunday night since they were so shorthanded. A young player who is having a strong season. No doubt North Texas would have loved to have the youngster with them. But that's what happens. This is what happens in this league. You got to make decisions. You got to trust the next guy to step up. Also, a shout out to Isaiah Parker, who's a young guy I got to talk to a couple months back when North Texas was in town against LAFC 2, or I guess LA Galaxy 2, and anyway, Isaiah had a great game that night. Got to talk to him, chat with him, his growth as a player, but disappointing that he has had a season-ending injury, and so we won't be able to see him develop the rest of the season, and we'll see what that means for his future come the offseason. But just a disappointing setback that unfortunately happens in pro soccer, at every level. So yeah, and some other players who have had their ups and downs with North Texas. We're going to see who can push through and who can. In particular, Michael Collodi, again, who I mentioned, he's going to be participating tomorrow evening on Season Pass on Apple TV in the some of the All-Star challenges for MLS Next Pro. Goalie Wars is what they're calling it. And don't forget, Martin Paz will be participating in some skill challenges as well, representing FC Dallas. I think that's earlier in the day on Apple TV. And don't forget Martin Paz and Peter Musa participating in the All-Star game for Major League Soccer later this week. So a lot going on. Summer transfer windows here. We might hear more rumors. One of the questions I'll be trying to suss out this week from FC Dallas front office folks, if I can, is just, hey, what are y'all thinking? Is this going to be a summer? Do you have room to maneuver this summer transfer window? Can we expect some possibilities, or are the resources limited to make some moves, or might we see some trades? Are there going to be a possibility of some movement for FC Dallas fans to look forward to as the roster, looks to they look to develop this roster and maybe find a couple more pieces to help push them over the edge. But the big picture for FC Dallas is this: time. They just need time. They need time for guys to get healthy, time for guys to overcome. I mean, Jesus Ferreira should be available soon. Patrickson Delgado. Sebastian Leggett went off with a concussion symptom, so we'll see if hopefully he's back next weekend. But you got to be safe around those kinds of things. Asia Ilaramendi, hopefully he can recover quickly. I think Liam Frazier is going to be out a little bit toward the end of the season if he makes it back. But the other big names, Giovan Jesus, how close is he? And that would be a nice little boost on the back line. How close are we to Alan Velasco starting to work his way back into the situation? And what is his fitness level going to look like? And how much will the team, how will they use him until, he can get fit and feels confident after a long year of recovery? And a couple of those guys getting healthy can be a big boost, can be a real help to this team and give them some more options to build around as they push for that playoff spot. So we'll keep you updated as we hear more, as we get to talk to head coaches and staff and figure out what's happening in FC Dallas and North Texas land. In the meanwhile, please subscribe to Afterburn Soccer, afterburn.soccer. Read our content. You can subscribe for free. If you want to kick some money our way, blessings to you. Thank you to all of our subscribers. Trying to figure out some opportunities to show up to some Dallas games and get some exclusive content in the coming weeks and months. But, we'll see how that flies. Literally how that flies. So, otherwise, thanks for joining in. We'll be posting the audio later. Solo show tonight. Go FC Dallas.